Hello, Passport Bros. This is Ra Haru here with another exciting video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to work while abroad. But before I get into that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, and this is important, please hit the subscribe button so you know when I go live or upload recorded videos. So let's get right into this. Now, many guys who go overseas to meet women, the passport bros, they usually take time off of work, whatever they've accumulated, whether it be a week, 3, 4 days, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. So they take that time to go yeah, to go abroad to meet women. And while they're there, they're sitting there with their girl, or they're in bed with their girl and they hear those little words, I love you. And then you realize that you're in love. And then you say to yourself, what can I do? I want to stay, but I need to make money, need to earn money. If I quit my job to come here, I may not find work, but if I bring her back over to the States, it may be difficult for us because she may become Americanized and be indoctrinated into feminism. So what do I do? Well, the answer is simple, my friend. So if you're in that predicament, or soon will find yourself in that predicament, there is a way to deal with that. See, many guys do the smart thing. Now, one of the benefits that happened with the lockdown and everything like that, many companies are no longer paying large overhead for offices. So they're getting their employees to work remotely. So if you are one of those who are fortunate to be able to work remotely, then you know you can work anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? You just have to be cognizant of the time differences. So you can actually go over to Brazil, work remotely while living with your new girlfriend, or feeling around and getting the lay of the land and seeing if that's a place you want to move to. And if it is, you'll have to get a visa and all these things. But in the interim, I want you to be able to be financially secure and settle in while you're scoping things out there, like for an apartment, you know, things of that nature. So, what many passport bros do that have been successful, wait, let me take a step back. There are two ways to look at this. The first way is you're going to need work, employment. That's just the bottom line. The other thing is if you are entrepreneurial, you can start a business that affords you the opportunity to not have a 9 to 5 job. How about that? That's great. But it takes time to build that business to where it's paying you a good chunk of money to keep you from worrying about the bills, worrying about how to pay rent. So let's deal with the first one, the employment, being able to work. Um, the best thing you can do to solve that problem is not to work in that country itself, no matter where you are in Cuba, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Brazil. Don't get a job there locally because it will pay you like next to nothing. Those people who are living there don't get paid a lot. So you want to start looking for a job opportunity that allows you to work remotely. That is the best thing you could find because this way you can go overseas and be there for 3 months, 4 months, and while earning an income, and then basically taking your paper and stacking it, putting that in the bank. You know what I mean? The Now, what are if you are at a job and your job doesn't allow you to work remotely, then you need to transition to a job that does allow you to work remotely, you know? So what's the best opportunities for that? Well, the things that I look at that really pays a lot and that'll have you living in a very, very comfortable way in those countries is in IT. So if you are a programmer, or you want to earn a lot of money, get into programming. That is the best thing to do. It will take some time to learn the various different languages. You need to get schooled on what are the languages you should learn in order to make the high bucks. They were talking about some of the programmers that got fired at Twitter were making 200,000, 300,000, even 400,000. And these were top-notch programmers. Now, the one thing you have to keep in mind about this, and the thing I don't like, is that when you decide to become a programmer, you must understand that it's not easy. You're gonna have to learn like Cold Fusion. You're gonna have to learn JavaScript and HTML5 and some other languages. Those languages take time to learn, and even more importantly, take time to become proficient at. And the problem is that when you are submitting your applications to companies, you are not a seasoned um, code writer. You're not. So they're going to pick somebody with 10 years experience over you because you've just learned and your coding skills are not on the level of somebody who has 10 years experience, because your codes are more likely to have bugs in them than the person who has 10, 15 years experience. So keep that in mind. But that is the one thing you want to try and go for when you want to go overseas and stay there for an extended period of time and get paid pretty well, is to be a programmer. You can work from your hotel, or the whatever, wherever you're at, the Airbnb, wherever you're at. And the great thing is, though you may have to work 9 to 5, the nights and the weekends are yours, and you're gonna be making pretty good chunk of change. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to buy like a first class. I mean, rent a first class accommodations. I've seen some of the apartments and the houses that some of these passport bros are renting, and it just looks like something you would find in New York in a penthouse. And that's because they're making six figures, and that six figures goes a long way in Colombia and Brazil. You know, if you go to Brazil and to the favelas, you'll see how they're living in just really bad poverty. So your six-figure income is just going to be, really, really good. So the other thing is, now we're going to keep progressing right now, right? The other thing about that is you can get into the other field is cybersecurity. Now that's going to be paying a lot. It pays a lot now, but it's going to be paying even more in the near future. But the problem with cybersecurity is, yes, you have to learn code, but it is not highly in demand. Though there are job opportunities, you'll find more jobs as a programmer than you will in cybersecurity. Um, Cybersecurity is still thriving. They're still looking for people, but you're going to just be aware of the fact that you may not see as many job posts looking for cybersecurity person. Plus, you have to, like, for example, if I wanted to, I can order off Amazon books on coding and self-teach myself, which I did at one point, or um, I'm sorry, and self-teach myself or taught myself those skills. I don't have them anymore because I didn't practice, and get a job. A lot of jobs aren't going to ask you if you're certified in this and that. Some will, but a lot of jobs won't. So if you're self-taught, that's great, you know, but it's a sedentary lifestyle. So you have to be used to sitting down for long periods of time and looking at the screen. Um, so the other thing is cybersecurity does require certification. And so you're gonna have to learn how to code and also be certified for that. So you can't just teach yourself cybersecurity and think you can get a job. It's not gonna work like that because they do extensive background checks and all that. And a lot of that is not for some people who may have had some run-ins with the law, no fault of their own. So be aware of that, but it's also a good alternative. The best alternative, I'm going to put this up on the screen, is what I deal in, which is digital project management. And in fact, I have a course on it called the Six Figure PM. So this is a project manager who deals directly with building websites. He or she puts together a team, and the team consists of like a designer. What else we have? A designer. You'll have your copywriter. You'll have a proofer. You have your programmer. You have your QA testers. You have the UX person. So that's your team, and you're the project manager, and you're managing them. And the goal of it is to build a website, a banner campaign, an iPad app, mobile app, everything under the sun. Those jobs, a digital project manager, are in high demand. You will always see a listing for those. And those are the best jobs for you if you want to live abroad and earn a minimum of six figures. And the great thing is, if you're a person who is a team leader, who likes to multitask, who's good at communication, that's the job for you. And it will pay you well. You'll probably start out as a freelancer as they test you, and see how good you are, and then they'll transition you to a perm employee where you'll start to get all your benefits. But I would look into that, check out our program, or you can just check out, um, the trade and see. When I started in the digital project management, or sometimes they call it producer field, there was no college courses, there were no books to teach you how to do it. I had to learn everything from the ground up. I had to pick people's brain. I had to even learn while I was on the job as a junior PM. And it was very difficult. But now I'm in a position to where, I've acclimated to it. I kind of know now the lay of the land, and it's going great. So that whenever I decide to take off if I want to go to Australia, I'll work from Australia. If I want to go to Japan or China, I'll work from there. As I said, the days will belong to the company you're working for, and at night, then it's yours. The nights and weekends is yours. Now, here's the great thing about a digital project manager, specifically starting out as a freelancer. You set the hours. You let them know your availability. That's the great thing. You are never ever expected to be a perm employee working 9 to 5 straight. In fact, sometimes, like, if I going to take a trip somewhere next weekend, I'll say, listen, I'm not available from Thursday to Tuesday. And they'll understand that because you are a contract employee. You don't have to abide by the typical 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Now, if you do that consistently, they're going to get annoyed and upset and saying, maybe we should start looking for somebody else. So don't do it too often. Get yourself situated. When you find the country you like, when you find the woman that you like, then start thinking about working remotely. Start thinking about, where do you want to go in that field? IT specifically. Do you want to go at programming? Do you want to go cybersecurity? Do you want to go as a project manager? Now, there's another field that we're having classes that are coming up that we'll be teaching in, and those will be user experience. Now, user experience is like site architecture. If you ever look at the architect and how they design a building, you'll see that it's just like a skeletal version of the building. Same way with the website. And that job pays very well. It pays at least six figures as well. And there are certain programs you'll need to be proficient at. There's certain you'll have to show your portfolio of work. That means you'll have to do some designing on your own, so you have a portfolio to show. But it's user experience is fun. I like it. It's like drawing circles and squares and things like that and connecting them. But you also need to know what's the latest thing for websites. The latest thing is, drop down menus, accordion menus? Is it a carousel? So you need to know all these technologies so you can advise the clients on what they should get with their website. But it's total fun um, job. I love it. And I used to do it, but I stopped doing it because at the time I was doing it, it wasn't a lot of work for it. Now it's booming. There's a lot of work for it. And I said, man, I wish I had really kept going in that direction. My skills would have been really up to par by now. But it pays very well, and it doesn't present as much headache as the PM, because the project manager is, you are responsible for the project itself. If something goes wrong on the project, they look at you and not anybody else. With user experience, you're only concerned about the architecture of a particular site you're working with, nothing else. So think about those things. All right. Those are the professions, the best professions to get into if you want to live abroad and make good money to live a very comfortable lifestyle. So I hope that I've kind of like encapsulated all of this so you can get a good understanding of it. Because many passport bros, they're just really tired of what's going on with women here in America, and they're seeking greener pastures overseas, and they're finding it. But the thing is, they're saying, well, now how can I make an income while I'm abroad? And again, you don't want to work and get a job like many of the native people, because those jobs don't pay anything, and you'll be in a situation to where you'll be broke trying to like pay rent, and you and your girl are going to go through financial stress. And I'll be honest with you, when you meet that woman and you guys really hit it off, she is going to see you as separate from all the men that are there. So there are certain expectations that she will have of you, that you'll be able to take care of her. And in return, she'll be a very traditional woman. She'll cook for you, she'll clean for you. So just be ready to do your part as man of the house and take care of some of the bills, and not be in a situation where you're struggling. No one wants to be like that, especially when you're in a foreign country. To be struggling, that's not good. That's not good. I've heard many stories of friends and people I know who dropped everything to move to France and found themselves penniless, living on the street, until someone eventually took them in and set them up with a job. But that's a horrible way to be in a country, penniless, on the street, can't speak the language. Oh, it's bad. That's bad. You don't want to do that. And I know many people are like, I don't care. I have a passion. I love Italy. I'll do anything to get there. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Trust me. Because people do, those countries have a certain perspective of Americans, and it's not broken living on the street. But think about that. If you're interested, go to my website, the Six Figure PM. We are continually having classes. We used to just have them every quarter, but now they're ongoing classes that you can jump into. And the great thing about this program is that once you finish the program, it's about 6 weeks, we help you find a job. We don't leave you out there. We work with recruiters to make sure you get your first job. And we have students that can give you testimony on that as well. So a lot of places, they'll charge a bunch of money, and then all of a sudden you find yourself out there with no job and the skills. But I make sure that not only do you have the skills, but you are going to have a job, and I'll work with you personally to make sure that everything is up to par. Your resume, your references, all of that will work to take care of that. So let me know if you have any questions. Put them down in the chat box down there, and then I will see you on my next video. Take care.